Hi everybody, TheGooseFathr here. This video is the first in my Pyg'S Over Explained series where I hope to take particular runs I had that were really good examples of an archetype of a powerful pig build, and where I did a decent job explaining kind of all of the decision points that I made throughout the process, as well as all the things we were looking for. In this particular game, we had a moment where we had to make a big decision on the pivot, and I think it was actually a very good example of when sometimes how you know when you have to transition in a run and how you make that transition when the game just isn't giving it to you, when it's not obvious, when it's not smooth, and when you just have to kind of make a hard pivot and maybe even decide to throw a few fights in order to do it. So this one's a particularly clear example of that. In this series, I will not only be taking a video for my stream, but also be adding to the top of the video information that I may have missed explaining. It's just things that hopefully you'll find helpful. And yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoy the video. If you find it helpful, cool. Full stop. I mean, do all the clicky crap if you want to, but that's not the goal here to go viral. It's just to make something that like you got something good out of. So what I'd appreciate even more than all that is if you see anything that was jarring, a little hard to follow, I could do better. If you could just drop, in the comment, yell at me a little bit and let me know where you would like the direction of these to go so that they better meet your needs in learning how to play Pig and crush Vanessa, because the Tyrant King is just deeply misunderstood. Thank you all, and hope you enjoy watching. So we're going to play a legit straight-up game, talk our way through, make sure we're making good choices. Pretty easy to dodge B1, B2. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay. It is possible that the world is going to, that we're going to get our luck back. That Stella just hit a groove. Opening up with Gonjo and Bushel, these are actually our two most powerful items. Not the two most powerful together, but our two most powerful starting items. Pretty cool. Doesn't really a board make, because we're still going to need some damage. Can we survive Viper with this board? I think we can. Yeah, we definitely can. So those are two of our most powerful items, but they actually aren't a good day one board. They will be on a good day two board, but they aren't a good day one board for two reasons. One, we kind of wanted to, if we could have gotten away with it, picked up a toy, a friend, or a food, and for some stupid reason, Bushel is not a food, even though I see lots of food. So that because between now and the end of day two, we need to get the tiny furry creature encounter and choose the XP option so that we get our second level by the end of the next day. So that's one. Two, we auto lose to poison or shield boards with just a heal. So you like two complete board states that you cannot beat just means that you can't get away with playing that. But both of those items independently are very, very powerful. We're going to go to Quixel and hope to find our rewards card. We didn't find anything. We're not going to reroll. We might reroll the next vendor. JJ's cheaper for the reroll anyway. Okay, this is pretty solid. This is really solid. We are scaling both heal and shield at the same time. We are scaling Fang. We got a lot of econ, a lot of options. I might grab Dog for the chance of scaling it. This is one of those starts where I'm at a really good start. I have econ. I have a board that's already like self-positioning for later. I can start investing in something that could pop off, could not. We don't know. Dog will require us to get it to silver, but I'm going to grab it with the hopes, with the prospects. It's not a bad. So on Pig, the econ start is best to get? Yes. Categorically, yes. Our skills are the worst skills in the game, and they're very bloated pool. More than half of the skills are just useless for all of our powerful boards. And so the gold skill is just, even when you get a good skill, you don't have enough money to put stuff on the board. Like, I got the I did a bunch of runs with it just to make sure I wasn't wrong. And I got the rightmost 40 damage on my rightmost weapon, and then I just like couldn't actually do enough weapon shopping, so that I still was far behind on getting like my Atlatl board together. It actually like was a worse Atlatl run, even though I already had 40 flat on my Atlatl. The enchant is just deeply random, and it's a small item, and the only two good small item enchants we have really are Succulents and Matchbox. Theoretically, Yo-Yo, but Yo-Yo takes a lot to get the board going. And you can make a build around those, and you can win around those, but it's not just that it's only two out of a big pool. It's also only two where only certain enchants are actually powerful. So it's very, very random for that to pay off. So you just go for the econ because you can make a lot better choices. I will start the fight and read the chat. Yeah, everyone's been saying to me skill is best, especially for dually. I've seen a couple of, I've seen that on Reddit. I've seen a couple of streamers that I trust say that. So he has himself a Jabal, which is pretty powerful, and he already started with more hit points. So the question is if we're going to catch up to him. We scale and he doesn't. If he gets too many swings at 3, I think we're good now. Yep, we just turned the corner. It's still a little bit of a nail biter. We won, but it's a nail biter. Yeah, okay, we're fine. We scale. So this is a really good lesson. In combat scaling is just obscenely powerful. He has our strongest day 1 weapon, and then trash, but he has the strongest day 1 weapon on the board, and we have a Fang. And we won because we have in combat scaling. In combat scaling, like making sure your things gain damage over time, is necessary on almost every board except for like a fixed crook board, because you've done all of your scaling outside of combat. Yeah, skills hilariously include neutrals. 10 City Mayor shield skill. Yeah, so the only reason skills are sometimes fun to play around with is because you can get monster skills, and I did one time get the golden, yeah, the mayor, Trash Town Mayor guy, the golden skill that gave me the obscene amounts of damage for every time I buy and sell an item, and I got it up to like 300 flat damage on every weapon I wanted to put on my board. That was outrageous. So yeah, there's some fun to be had there. We're going to re-roll. We're pretty well set up for an Atlatl start. You see a briefcase by a briefcase. That's just the law. Silver and bronze. Don't do it at gold. Don't do it at diamond. At silver and bronze, hatchet and briefcase resell for as much as you bought them for, which means that they don't cost you any money to just buy and sell if you want to. Talking about earlier about how fiddly Pyg is, one of the things you are always keeping in the back of your mind is how you can hold on to things in your inventory as long as possible so you can eke a little bit of value out of it. So, you know, if we had ourselves a Regal Blade, we could hold on to this briefcase, maybe get Regal to silver, sell it, and then get some, you know, more power off of it. We have Dog, so we're going to, you know, see if Dog gets to silver before we sell it. We might go to Midsworth, who's going to pay us more for briefcase. We might go to Barcoon, who's going to pay us more for the coins from briefcase, etc., etc. So you kind of hold until you have to. You do a little bit of clearing just so you don't drive yourself nuts. You don't have to be perfectly efficient, but it's good to pay attention to that kind of stuff. We definitely want the best skills for us are damage skills. There's 2 exceptions early in our bronze skill pool. One, there's the skill that gives you maximum hit points for non-weapon items on your board. That is only board specific if you're going for a matchbox or a weights board where you're going to have a bunch of that. It'll straight up just win you day 1, day 2, maybe even day 3, just because they have like 3 times the hit points to get through. But then it falls off and it's not very good. And then the other is Arms Dealer, where you gain hit points by buying and selling, and that one does pile up and is very advantageous. So that one's worth doing. The question here we can get a decent amount of value out of Curio, but I've had really bad luck Curio the last few times, and it's fishing. We can get guaranteed power on Ganja, which I think is the correct play, and we could upgrade Dog so that we could start scaling our Dog damage and have a big bonk on our board. We probably are going to be doing Flail, because since it swings 3 times, you can just consider that cast time divided by 3 to think about how fast this thing is. So that's a very, very fast weapon that's going to get the damage put on it. So this is probably going to be our setup, which means the next board state, we won't get Dog on our board. We might be able to fit Dog on our board, but then we have to do something else. So maybe, but we have Bushel, which is also really powerful. So we don't have to do this. Ganjo is probably the more guaranteed play. I'm going to go with Ganjo, and I'm going to look for Dog next if we happen to get ourselves a Lost Crate or something like that. We are looking very square here. It's actually very good to look square early, honestly. Most of our really powerful stuff is very square. It's just the correct thing to do. This might actually be correct. You get more overall scaling from bandages, but it will take so long for that scaling to surpass the value that we get out of Bushel. And yeah, I think we have enough damage for Rogue Scrapper because we scale. The middle guy has significantly better drops than Rogue Scrapper does. And it used to be that we would go for him. So if you do exclamation point guides, and I still have to update that with the new monsters, I'm sorry, but that has my Pyg'S study guide, which has, we'll pull it on the screen here for a second. It has encounters, monsters, and level up. So encounters are all the different encounters and kind of what they give you for your first, second, third, fourth choice. And then kind of my rating on whether you should take it or not. My monster notes have all of the monsters every single day, notable loot, and the difficulty, and then kind of combat notes of little things you have to take into account in the right encounters. One of the things you'll notice on there is that I say that the middle guy, it has amazing drops for us. He has Shadow Cloak, he has the Haste Boots, he has a skill. He's great. But the new meta right now, it used to be getting XP to race to get your extra level on day 1. The new meta is getting your XP to race to get the extra level on day 2. Because we can't get day 1, but we can still get day 2 if you get XP at least once. Sucks to have to miss middle, but being a level ahead with an extra spot on our board is just obviously too much power to pass up. So because of that, you have to take the Rogue Scrapper in order to get the extra XP for that fight. If you don't take Scrapper, you have to have gotten 2 of the tiny furry creatures in order to get the level up in this thing. So, yep. Hope that makes sense. We're going to go to JJ. Okay. My stash is a little full. Not sure I want to be fiddling with Boomerang. Also, buying Boomerang usually just means that you all mock me because I forgot once again to put Boomerang on my combat board. I don't love our secondary options here. We're going to go bandages, and then I guess it's going to be barbed wire, which will get a tiny bit of scaling from bandages. I wouldn't mind getting some extra power on Dog. Fang could be a vehicle for just face rushing if we feel like that's the right choice for the fight. Okay. We have a bunch of things we could sell off if we saw something great here, so we'll do the reroll. Namely, we were hoping to get ourselves the rewards card, which we haven't yet. That's fine. None of these make any sense to us. We're going to move on with our lives. Okay. We almost always go the loot option nowadays because we're trying to get truffles. Once we have truffles and rewards card, we start value scaling, and then that allows us into property pivots later. It gives us a chance, if we get the boar market skill, which gives you damage for the value of your weapon, to drop the truffle value onto something like Atlatl and scale it to the moon. So truffles and rewards card are kind of our early lookouts to start building our economy that sets up our later pivot turns. Sorry if I'm over talking, by the way. Please ask any questions if you would like this to be a little more directionful and less directionless. So, um, this has better scaling, and that is just some damage on our board. 5-second at 10, but at least it gains damage with shield, whereas Fang's just static. So okay, here we are. That's the board we got. It's not unbeatable, but it's solid. You are very, very welcome, Shazura. You are very welcome, Shazura. Yeah, and I this is my favorite way to kind of do the stream, which is to just keep deeply over-explaining Pyg's. So I can understand. I was watching a Kirk stream where he talked about like when he pops into a streamer and they're just jabbing nonstop, he immediately tunes out, and I totally understand that sentiment. So I get a little, wary of how much I can talk, but this is when the game gets fun for me. It's also when I get good. I play so much better when I'm locked into telling you why I'm doing the thing, thinking about the next steps, and honestly, that's the best thing you can do for yourself. Also, what'll happen is you have two choices in front of you. You kind of have a gut check which one's better. But if you talk it out, or at least ask yourself the direct question, what do I want to get from this vendor? What are the specific items I want to get from them? And if you can't answer the question, then go to some unranked runs, go to that vendor over and over again until you have a strong feel and you can answer the question. You're like, oh, okay, if I don't know for sure what Curio could have for this build, all right, then you want to go do some, square pig if that's what you're doing runs, and make sure to focus on Curio a little bit. And that's just kind of how you do it. And you don't really know that you didn't know the thing until you, tried to ask yourself, what is it I'm looking for, and couldn't answer the question. So we are looking for flat damage power on Atlatl that we could get from Curio. So he has a lot of weapons that you can buy and sell for damage. So that alone would be worth it. We are looking for Shadow Cloak, which will give almost full haste to Flail for the entire part of combat and a little bit of damage. Shadow Cloak Flail Ganjo is actually like a day 3 Juggernaut. We are unironically, it's a little late. I like doing it day 1 or 2, but looking for knee brace that we could put on our board to start scaling health. If you can fit it without sacrificing too much power, it really does stack up, and you will notice a difference later. So those are the things we're thinking about for why we might want to go to Curio. And I forgot Curio now has truffles. So now we got the first half of our pivot scaling together from that. So that was huge. Here's one of the things that he sells that you could buy and sell for damage. We're just about time where we need to start actually making space on the board. Part of all of my hoarding right now is wondering if we were going to get Dog easily to silver, not sacrificing any of our power for it. So I don't think that's going to end up happening. So we're probably just going to drop Dog. It's also a little late to get him going. But, we're looking square piggish, which means we wouldn't mind a damage scaled item. That's one of our ones that can do a little bit of bunkage. Hey, excited to find educational Pig stream. Pig is so far my favorite, but I need to learn some late game pivot options. Feel like I always end up in gym or fixer upper. Super glad you're here. I'm a little sad to tell you that in the current meta, the thing that you did not mention is square pig, and that's the obvious options, is property, not fixer, but property, but we kind of consider that one of them. Gym or square pig. We'll see if we can do a square pig run here and kind of explain how that can be a complete late game build now. It could actually win on day 13 because Bonk slowed everyone down so much that Atlatl is now very, very powerful. Squares for day 10 wins, in my opinion. You're wrong. It used to be, but you're wrong. Didn't always used to be either. We're not going to re-roll for the shadow for the other stuff. It's not worth the currency. It's not a wrong impression, but we have a lot of reasons why it's not true anymore. First, The big bonk made everything a second faster, and so it Lottle at 1 second is significantly stronger. Second, the enchant of what's it called? Obsidian turning from lifesteal to double damage now means that you can actually get at Lottles that are just hard carries pretty easily. Not easily, but it's an option. And we get a lot of obsidian items available to us at the weapons vendor, so you can get a scaler like dog or like cash cannon or something else that has obsidian on it that you can get near the moon, and that can sit alongside your lion cane, and now you're double bonk. We get caltrops on a square pig build, and caltrops can carry against most late game fights right now. Most fights, especially the new cards, are speed. They're using a bunch of charge mechanics, and they'll just beat themselves to death on our caltrops. And then we always have the lion cane pivot, which we can get down to a 3-second one-shot bonk. So there's a lot of variance in square pig that absolutely can hard carry into the day 13-14. It deserves to be included in the list. It was inconsistent before, so it was only like when you were high rolling square pig. It is not inconsistent now. It is much more consistent to hang on to square pig to day 13 than to pivot to Jim for day 13. Jim has speed problems, square pig doesn't. That was a little bit of an onslaught, sorry. We might go for boots here because we got a lot of bronze, but that means cleaning up shop. It no longer makes any sense to hold on to anything that's not great. So we got to get rid of everything we don't want to accidentally upgrade in order to have boots on our board. So I think we still, our best board still includes bandages. It does not include barbed wire, probably. Definitely doesn't include briefcase. We can clear that out for ourselves. We'll hopefully find something else for the flex spot there. So that's just enough to hold on to. Okay, we're going to move on. Old opinion by Women's Girl a lot, sure I should have mentioned, but I'm still looking for options beside those three, and Matchbox as well. Matchbox is definitely not a late game option. So we're going to go with this against her. The most important thing in this fight is just consistent rapid damage to make sure her shield doesn't get out of control. She crits an unrealistic amount of times, and so if she has, she gets up to 80, 90 damage when she gets one of those crits, it's like half your fight. So you just need to keep getting hits in. You don't need a lot of sustain against her, so this is the correct setup. So two things. One, we don't really have... There's just some really silly combos just because you get things that you weren't expecting. We had a Vanessa run where we got ourselves Submarine from Dig. We got, Crow's Nest from a monster. We went to the hero vendor and we got Buckle from Vanessa, and then we threw a phono next to it. And we were playing a pretty kick-ass Vanessa run. You have to be open to those kind of pivots, but obviously those aren't what you're aiming for. The big three are the ones you're aiming for, and then you have the pivots available, kind of you're keeping open for. But I want to talk about Fixer in a second as not thinking of that correctly anymore. Fixer is not our property pivot. Thanks so much for the stream. You're so welcome. Thanks so much for being here, man. I hope to see you again soon. So Fixer can be our property pivot. Hello. I can talk, I swear. Fixer can be our property pivot. Oof. You see a hatchet, you buy a hatchet. We're simple people. And is particularly the one you do when you're behind. Because, or when you don't have any value stacking, like we don't have value stacking yet. And so you can get into that a little late because it'll start building its own value a little bit as you go, and you're going to guarantee getting into diamond unlike the other ones, etc. So, but if you get truffles and you get either ledger or rewards card, and absolutely if you get both, and quadruple absolutely if you get 2 truffles and those 2. You're doing real value scaling. Subscraper is by far your property pivot. Subscraper allows whatever value you put on it to dump to all the other items. Let's think really quickly. Is it dog? We have bootstraps to play cleanup. Flail wouldn't be bad. Are we actually pivoting? We're actually weapon skilling here, right? I think we're trying to do an Atlatl game. This board is strong-ish enough. We no longer have enough stuff to sell for dog right now for that upgrade to be particularly powerful. So the best we can do is kind of fish and hope we're going to get a weapon skill, which will help us get into nuclear Atlatl faster. So now we have right and leftmost, which is great. I hate giving up defense grid. I really love the skill, but it's we're leaning a little squarish. It's just not the best option for us. So, okay, we got rightmost, we got leftmost on the both sides of that guy. I guess dog is currently our best. We need to fix that before we get out of here. Which means we probably should go to her. But honestly, XP is too valuable. We're gonna risk the board we have. We have some in combat scaling. We have a lot of sustain. We might pick up her force fields here, which with Ganjo is actually kind of powerful. We'll see. We'll see what we get. So Subscraper dumps its value onto all the items on the board, and then it picks up the value from all the items on the board and does whatever it does with it. It's a tiny bit slower, but everything's a little bit slower now than Fixer. But it can easily get, if you have a lot of high value items on your board, to a 1-cast kill with poison or fire. It also lets you do shenanigans, just silly fun stuff. It lets you take Pygmalian Dagger whenever you get it at like day 7. I mean, you can get it at day 5, but you usually don't. And then you start item cycling to get a bunch of value on Pygmalian Dagger, and now suddenly that's pumping a bunch of value on your Subscraper. It can, you could have it Atlatl, and if you get the Boar Market skill, then Subscraper dumps its value onto Atlatl, and that gives a bunch of flat damage on Atlatl, and now Atlatl's nuclear standing next to a property, right? So Subscraper gives you tons of fun other lines. Sure. I'll try to talk about them a little more. I'm really slowing my gameplay, and I'm worried people find that boring as hell, but maybe they won't. I don't know. Maybe I need to get over myself. Okay, we're playing against Pig. I think we're going to try to scale our sustain. I'm not sure if that's correct. We're a little weak for day 3. We fell a little behind. I don't love this. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. We're gonna do this. I don't love it. So the lines are really close to playing Fixer, and Fixer isn't a bad thing to have on your board for that build. So what is this guy? This is one of the new ones. It's a decent amount of burn. Gives you some regen. Yeah, we're gonna pick up the L against duct tape here. We're actually doing fine. I think we're fine. But it would not be the first loss I had, just kind of exclusively to duct tape all on its own. So you need to get Subscraper to Diamond, hopefully. Get some value on it. You just value stack on Subscraper the same you value stack on Fixer. Having Fixer is a really great, easy, high value item, so that's your start, right? You would just grab a Fixer and kind of throw it on your board because you could get it to Diamond really easy and it's worth a lot. cool, fine, you get a little bit more sustain. But Subscraper just needs a damage enchantment, and you're off to the races. If you don't get the damage enchant, I think we're too late for Dog to matter anymore. But we still have a crap-ass board. But that's probably better fixed by shopping. We got to get ourselves into a crook, so we need to go shopping a lot. It's there, and square hasn't come around. Do we hold on to it just to hold on to it? Just to be safe? Alright, where's our bootstraps at? Nowhere. That needs to go. I think we're not poor, so it's correct to hold for a minute. I don't like it because it's not what I want to play. Ooh, Jim. Jim's not exactly what I want to play either, but I think Jim is what we're gonna play for right now. We hopefully will get Square Pig online. Unfortunately, we just wasted 3 gold doing that, but you know, can't see the future. Okay, so we'll hold on to that. So that's the, you know, you get a damage enchant on it. You just have items of value on your board. Subscraper hits them for a billion burn and you win. Like, that's the generic Subscraper line. Boar Market gives you one really silly option, which is that now the value goes onto your weapons. And so now when you put a bunch of value on Subscraper, it drops that value onto your weapons, and your leftmost and your rightmost get value base or damage based on your value. If you only have one weapon, it gets double damage. So now Subscraper and whatever else you can put on your board that has value, including can turn it Lottle Nuclear all on its own and get it Lottle to the moon, right? This feels a little slow for him. I don't like Dog there. This feels a little slow for Marianas. I don't think we take him. I think we stay safe. Yeah. So that's the one option that lets you get a little cheeky. You could always Subscraper Fixer Spike Shield. And I think I need to learn ways to improve my early game consistency, so you're micro-explaining your thoughts right now and going slow is much appreciated. Mainly interested in your general thought process, and if you're playing a Subscraper build while I'm watching, I'm even happier about it, and now I am going to shut up for a while. You talk as much as you want, man. This stream is for y'all, and it makes it a lot more fun. It gives me direction on what I'm doing. This is day 6 of casting for me, so I can use all the help from chat I can get, and having an active chat just makes this worthwhile. So, yeah, if we Subscraper's looking bleak for us, okay. Well, I hate to tell you this. I think you know what build we're playing. I think all doubt has just been removed about what build we're playing, unfortunately. We still have to get some way to get real value. You can't weapon cycle your way up to a gym. So, bronze on day 4? Has Andy ever not screwed you? Have you ever walked away from an encounter with that dude and been like, yeah, that was fun? I feel like somehow they got the design of the character to feel like the voice actor. In a way I'm not a fan of. Okay. Are we going to try to play some silly Matchbox shenanigans while we wait for Jim to come online? Dog ain't going nowhere. He's still bronze day 4. That was by choice, but he's still bronze day 4. Doesn't change the truth. I I really like this setup because of how fast it is, and getting that 20 damage onto my much faster weapon is objectively correct. I just don't actually have... And I bought in the wrong order because I didn't realize I was so poor. Misplay! Oh, that's a mistake, man. Okay, how much of a crisis is that? How much do I really want Matchbox? Yeah, not enough to mortgage anything for it. That was a mistake, man. That's the problem with chatting, because I'm not particularly great at keeping track of what I'm doing. So we could go to Mountain Pass for the fight. I really would love to have some money and go shopping at Isla, but the fight's going to be the best way to do that. And we're getting... Oh, darn. It's not nothing. Okay. Well, I mortgaged our future. This is just so frustrating. 57. That's not correct. That feels bad. Just trying to think about what would make the best sport right now. I think it's Fang, and I think it's just going one short, and I think that's just fine. We're still pretty weak, but we haven't lost any fights. We kind of don't mind losing today. We got to get our money together. We just finally got a rewards card, so we've been particularly broke. And rewards card doesn't really make us rich anymore because, you know, you have to focus on keeping that money on your, value stacker on your property. How hard's that going to hit us for? Not too hard. Are we just going to get hard carried by bushel? By the bushel upgrades? Yeah, I think we are. No, we aren't. I didn't see Life Preserver. Oh, that's dangerous. He is scaling. It's close. We're ahead right now. Oh, Life Preserver already went off. Oh, we're fine. So I'd say at the stage that you're in right now, it would start to feel under a lot of pressure. Without a Soonish Crook and no real eco, I feel like I would start to lose soon. And right now there is not enough direction. How would you look at your current state? I would look at this as a transition state in which I'm probably going to lose 1 to 2 of the next 3 days, unless I get lucky, and that's fine. I think we have a gym, and gym is usually a day 12, day 13. It's almost never a closeout on day 10 just because it takes so long to get together, and you have to sacrifice to move into property builds. You just do. You can't hope to get perfect runs into a property build transition. That's just like, that's rarely that kind of lucky. And so you keep track of your metrics on what makes, when you know a build is working and when it's not. We could talk a little bit about the numbers on Square Pig. There's some just hard numbers you could keep track of. We obviously are nowhere on Square Pig without Crook. And so that's probably not where we're going. We don't even have the option to fish for it right now, and we aren't very rich. So we're buying and selling weapons. That actually goes on my board right now. That's kind of funny. We're buying and selling weapons, and we're just getting power. So we're still doing all the fights we can to just keep speeding up in the race. One of the big things you want to always pay attention to when you're doing a property build, if you can, is to get to 10 as fast as humanly possible, because your enchant doubles the value of your property. That alone can just suddenly make your property playable when it wasn't a little bit before. So that's one of the biggest things you're looking for. Stabilizing our economy is really important, and so, gosh darn it. So just fight fishing. Just constantly picking the fights whenever you can is the best thing you can do for yourself. We are a little tight here. I love truffles, but luckily we know what we're putting value on. and so we can get away with that right now. Yeah, so I'm feeling the same thing you're feeling in terms of like I don't love our board or our position. But yeah. This leftmost, rightmost thing with Ganjo is kind of killing me. I think I'm correct that we can outrace Mod Squad. I probably should have done the hard math because as I've been talking a lot lately, I've been losing some fights I shouldn't lose because I've just been deciding to wing it and decide I will make the fight when I shouldn't be making the fight, but we're fine here. This is fine. So yeah, I would just you don't feel pressure. You just kind of like, all right, I know I need to pivot. Yeah, I think we lose. I think we're losing because Bulldozer Baggins there is about to one-shot me. Get the hit. Whew, way closer than I like. Whoa. I was right to be a little afraid there. That was close. Okay, so yeah, I'm seeing the same state you are. We're pretty weak. We don't have Crook, so we can't even think of like Crook power, Itlotl, whatever. I think we grab the item. I mean, health scales. Health is always good, but we're poor. We really have to be very, very rich to do gym scaling. It just means we're going to need to be buying and selling things all the time. Unfortunately, we have some board constriction space. So knowing we're going to lose some fights, this is where we just go, okay, so then the way that we win is we make the space to get the money to start buying and selling hard on our Pyg's gym so that Pyg's gym eventually picks up and then we win the fights after that. So we have to throw something. So we're going to throw right now. We are going to get these two on the board because they're fantastic with Pyg's gym. Maybe we even put Fang for right now. And this is our new board. We are now a face rush board that's very, very weak because Pyg's gym is weak. But we don't care. We are going to create the space to put the things on our board that are going to get us income. Okay. And now we are living and dying by weapons purchasing and getting Pyg's gym upgraded and then getting today to level 10 so that we can get our enchant. One of the ways that we cheat is putting fake free damage on top of everything. That'll go pretty far. There we go. We just got a huge upgrade. Always check in on your crypto. Hi Goose, could you explain a bit on why you don't buy ATM or cash register on day? I thought it was a must buy. I saw you skip them on day one for shop. Yeah, people will argue with me on that quite a bit. But it very much depends on if I'm trying to put a board together or not. Basically, day one, day two, you need to win. And you need to do everything you can to put those boards together. And square items cost 4. We had to get the reroll to see if we had stuff on the other side of the board. And we didn't know how much money we needed on the other side of that board. So it basically just came down to, yeah, and we were pretty comfortable losing to this board regardless, by the way. But this is one of those, like, we knew we were throwing so that we can start building power here so that we start picking up by day 7 or so. And now we have money and we have Isla and we're feeling good. There we go. So I don't remember the exact play, but I'm betting it was the first half of a middle or something, and we had to see the second half of the board, and we had to have money on the other side to be able to get items together, to get a board and to start picking the items to have a good board for day 2. It is income getting ATM, but it's one income getting ATM. And I think income's a little overrated. Most of the time with Pig, you will get items that give you value and build your value, and then you want to go shopping a lot and get your value that way. You win a fight, you get items you sell for value. Like that's where you get your money. We were dead broke 2 days ago, and now we're sitting on 63 in our bank, right? So Pig does not get its money generated by income. It gets its money generated by play. And so overvaluing, especially sacrificing like board states to get that income, I don't feel is great. I do kind of like cash register, but I think it's really, I think I'm over. I think I'm thinking I'm going to get ledger more often than I am. I am so stressed out about stash space because of what ledger does when you're trying to play really proper econ, whatever. That I think I'm starting to overcorrect, and oh, I should have. Oof, I forgot I'm weapon cycling, so I should have bought that one for 4. I don't know if I love Jabalion. God, at 8 these are expensive, but we have a lot of money. We're gonna do it. We just need to start putting some value on our thing. That was a misplay because I was talking, but here we are. Okay, middle. Um, Stained glass, maybe. Yeah, I think. Yeah. Okay. Ooh. Okay. And then caltrops. And then there was a board. All right, so we're gonna hold off on it, Lottle. It's not gonna get nuclear in time right now. We're gonna sell that because it's bad, and then our board state that hopefully we cannot lose with is this, and we'll see if we can. And it might be Jabalion, depending on which fight we pick. And we can start getting a little bit of extra value there. There we go, silver. We get to upgrade our Pyg's gem. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. So I wanted to come around by day 7. We're starting to. We are going to slow down a little bit on the fights to make sure that we can win them. A crook would be a possible stall, but not really since we just use our gold upgrade. You can actually, yeah. Actually, a crook still might be a possible stall just because of how stupidly powerful Caltrops is. Not that I've ever gotten crook from this guy. I've literally not once gotten crook from this guy and did dozens and dozens of games against him. So I don't know why I always am like, oh, what would I do with the crook I'm not going to get? Okay. Okay, so we got ourselves a little bit of value there. I think we're done with this, right? We'll hold on to it for a second in case we upgrade it, but I think we're done with it. Do we just like swing? It might be correct to get more currency because Quixel's not going to have a lot of weapons for us. So property might actually be correct just to get more currency to put together so we can keep weapon cycling. Am I talking myself into that? Yeah, I think I do need to clear board space for it. Expert play, boys. Expert play. That was just... Yeah. All right. Goodbye, bootstraps. It's been fun. It's been real. Had been real fun. Okay. All right. So we got a lot of pieces. We're doing okay here. That was it. I actually have very good luck with the get a specific item ones. That is not an endorsement. That is not me telling you that that was correct play. I actually was just like, all right, a large item here is money that we're going to be able to use to buy the more expensive weapons that are kind of what are in front of us right now. And Quixel at best has like 1 or 2 weapons tops, so it was just long term the play. Am I re-rolling here? What am I even fishing for? I have Balcony. She's not going to have a gold Pyg's gem on day 6. She's not going to have a Pyg's Gym ever, but she's not going to have a gold one on day 6. She's not going to, like, best she'll have is belt. She might have her rewards card upgrade. She might have ledger. Okay, 2 gold will reroll for those. Nope. Okay. I think I would have gone for XP here for the level 10 rush attempt. Yeah, but it's a decent. We got to get the board together. And I want the enchant too, but at the same time, like, you have to get everything upgraded. We have to get value on this, or it being enchanted doesn't matter. The enchant's going to double its value. We're going to hit the enchant eventually. You could have done the light math and known we aren't going to hit the enchant on day 7, even if we took that fight, which means we will hit the enchant on day 8 no matter what. So if you're thinking about it that way, it doesn't give you a day where you are more powerful than not doing it otherwise. And yeah, so that might all be just me kind of convincing myself. Who knows? So we are on day 6. There is some mathematics that tells you whether or not Atlatl is allowed to be on your board. Day 6 needs to be nuclear. That means 180 damage, so it's swinging in 1.1 seconds by about 10 seconds to be considered a strong board on day 6. About 5 seconds to be a strong board on day 7, and it just has to be nuclear immediately to be a strong board on day 8, with the exception of Pyg's Gym, where you're going to go way above nuclear and keep scaling. Even with Pyg's Gym, we don't want it on our board if it's not getting nuclear within that time frame. So within 5.7 seconds, I mean, we're going to be a little off because of the bonk. Honestly, might change our calcs a little bit. I may be willing to if it's 2 casts of Pyg's Gym to get there, right? So this is going to swing for 60. So we will get 120 in about 11.4 seconds. 120 damage on top of our Atlatl, which is currently sitting at 61, is exactly nuclear. So it is okay-ish to be on our board. It is slightly weak because it's not inside of 10. It is not necessarily incorrect. But Flail is very, very, very powerful also. Because of how fast it is. So it is also a vehicle for a lot of damage, but then it slows down. Really depends on how fast we think our fight's going to be. We're up against Vanessa. If we are up against spam to death Vanessa, it's Flail. If we're up against spam to death Vanessa, Caltrops is our plan. If we are up against single weapons Vanessa, we're going to have to pierce through all of her heal, and we're probably dead anyway. We probably don't win that fight. And if we're up against any kind of stall Vanessa, Atlatl's going to be our win. So I think Caltrops is already picking up our spam victory condition. So we've talked our way through all of the different fights, and so, right, we win a little bit more often with Atlatl on the board. We're going to go with Atlatl. Again, we're not terribly. I was completely willing to lose day 5, day 6 in order to make this pivot. What's the crit chance at? 20%? There's a very real chance we get out of this. So I was very willing to. Wow, Caltrops. Caltrops just kind of won that for us. Atlatl only got 1 swing off at nuclear. So if you remember, 2 days ago, we decided we were going to throw 2 days, and we didn't care which ones they were, between day 5 and day 8 in order to get into this board. And that was just what our pivot was going to cost us. And so far, we've only lost 1 of those. So we're pretty happy with the transition. Ganjo's never going to fit on our board anymore. I could theoretically and should probably hold it just in case we could sell it for more value if we get it like Midsworth or whomever. Okay, so let's just keep talking through what it is we're looking for before we go somewhere. So, the chocolate bars are health, but not the best mechanism for it. We have enough money to not be worried about 5 gold. We're going to Kev, and I guess we're hoping to get weapons, getting an enchanted something, getting a enchanted yo-yo. But generally speaking, he doesn't have a lot of weapons, and they're not very cheap. But at worst, we're going here to put rewards card money onto our gym. Okay. I buy this for 16. I sell for 8. I get 2, 4 back, so it cost me 2 to weapon cycle this. That's perfectly fine. We have lifting and we have Pyg'S gym, so we are hoping to aggressively weapon cycle. We're willing to spend 4 on that right now. We won't reroll here though, because he just doesn't have enough weapons frequently for that to make any kind of sense. It's actually a really tough choice as to whether or not we want to take the temporary, because that's pretty big for us. Having Caltrops immediately doing damage to somebody who comes out the gate swinging at our dome is pretty powerful, and could be a carry. But again, we were willing to throw some days in order to get into a powerful build. We're going to stick to that game plan. We are going to keep weapon cycling. Probably have to slow down after this one and only do 4s for a little bit. We're going to get the fight, so we're fine. Okay. So Ryokan, there are some property ones, specifically cooldown reduction, that are really big for us and worth going to. But in the meantime, it's usually Ryokan. Again, you always want to call your shot, right? You always want to think about what it is you want to get there, because as you're doing that, you might think to yourself like, okay, maybe I want to get cooldown reduction would be great, but isn't it Ryokan? Maybe I'm hoping to do some value conversion shenanigans, so I want to get Boar Market. That's at Ryokan, but it's also with the other guy. Maybe, so as you're calling him, you might start realizing the other option's better, so you have to do it. Heavy Armaments is my shot. That's what I'm pointing at. That's my North Star. It is the single best weapon skill in the game. If you're going to be under 5, which Square Pig and Jim both usually are. Square Pig always is. Jim usually is. Strength. We still got strength available to us. We probably can't get left or right-handed because he's selling at least silver, so those are off the board. So those aren't a lot of options. And then, you got the kind of weaker ones, which would be the income as damage. But still, I think Ryokan's the answer. I forgot to say upgrading or lifting. We haven't done terribly good on lifting yet. Strength's 15. So we gotta buy and sell 7 more weapons till we make up the difference. I mean, that's the game plan anyway, right? Might as well just if it means that we are forcing ourselves to play more correctly, great. Can we kill Chili here with this board? I think the answer is yes. Chili has a decent amount of spam, so Caltrops is okay. Most monster boards, Caltrops doesn't do a whole lot for you, but I think we're okay here. We have more health than he does, so we're good. All we have to do is stay on top of the shield. He doesn't do any damage to you at all. He's a pretty easy fight, let's be honest. But it's good to treat every fight seriously. Anyway, again, thank you everyone for being here. This is the last day of my first week of streaming, so I'm having a blast and super happy to be doing it. I honestly thought I'd be casting Into the Void for a month. I was happy to have one person here, so you guys are making this really fun and exciting for me, and I really appreciate it. Okay, get rid of Ice Cream Chuck. Get Jim back into the correct position. And what do we want? We're okay on money, so we'll go to Quicksoul. I would really love a ledger, and I'd really love a rewards card. And I'd like a weapon slightly cheaper than 8. Do I take that? I think I do. I think I keep We keep picking as much as we can at that. Yo-Yo, great. Yo-Yo is actually going on our board. We get to get rid of Fang. I've been making a pretty deep... No, I've had it in the right position. I've had it in the correct position. Okay, yeah. We get to get rid of Fang because Yo-Yo is the new Fang. But Lotl stays in this position because, yeah, we'll do the math in a minute here and figure out if it needs to go. Skill upgrades. Is he just going to give us lifting? I forget if he gets blocked at bronze at this level too. Before we do that, does Herma have anything at all? No. You could, and I have, do Subscraper shenanigans where Subscraper is passing value to Jim that passes back onto Lotl and just do an Lotl standalone, but you usually only do that if you also got Poor Market and the value is giving damage flat to Lotl, and it's fun. But that's not today's game. Okay, he does have both. Do I want to spend that kind of money? Like, I then can no longer afford weapons. It's yes, because it's going to be on the other side of the fight. Versus 10 flat. Okay, we got Diamond Lifting. And Pyg's Gym. We are full on gym bros, y'all. Okay. Let's play the game correctly and see where we are. So let's just do our math. Ooh, we are so close to one cast. Nothing to be done about it, but we're really, really close. On day 7, that would be a very good board. Just shy of it. So we're doing good. If this is single weapon, this might be the one we throw away that we knew we were going to lose. That's a pretty good board. Depends on their weapon damage scaling and their crit chance. No, I think we win this. I think we pretty handily win this, actually. Cool. What's your thoughts on Rock? I go so often to him since he has 4 things I like, especially the skill. I go to Rock for cooldown reduction almost only. The skill's good, but we don't. The skill is haste when you crit, and we don't usually get a lot of crit chance. And honestly, most of the time that I do get a lot of crit chance, I have already kind of turned the corner on getting some other version of haste on my board. Like, crit comes much harder for us than haste does. So yeah, I'm pretty bought into always going for the bigger XP fight, especially since we are in spitting distance of hitting our enchant on day 10. But generally, yeah. If I'm doing a pure property build, then cooldown reduction is the whole game, beginning and end. Yeah, so yeah, I guess that's my thoughts on it. I think we are going... Goldie's expensive as hell. I'm not sure what we're going to buy from them. I think he's a little too rich for our blood right now, to be honest with you, so we're just going to take 10 flat damage. Having Caltrops doing something semi-significant right away is undeniably beneficial. We're still at silver, so we still get more cash here. Cool. We could put some... little bit of crit. Okay. Come on, JJ. Small weapons, please. Whiff. We'll reroll. Cool. I'm sad to say goodbye too, buddy. Okay. We are not fast enough for this glorious bastard. He is out of control. He needs to be stopped. Here we probably go Rock, since there's not an XP difference, and I do like cooldown reduction. And we aren't rocking with vehicles. So here I go for Rock. If I had a big fight I could take. I wouldn't, but we're not going to get our enchant today, so that's a little sad. Unless we get another fight. Sag. So the question is, what do you put your enchant on? And it's between Atlatl and Jim. Jim gives you flat, like, a lot of value for doing it. And so it's almost always Jim, but Jim has a lot of crappy enchants, so it's a little hard. I'm pretty hard prioritizing Boomerang, which gives me a good amount of crit. I'm up to my choice most of the game. This is what makes me like the skill so much. Otherwise, CDR is amazing. Yeah, it's fair. If you have the memory of a fruit fly, like yours truly, and you never remember to put Boomerang on your board, and then you never get loot items because of it, then I think of CDR a little differently, mostly because of my aptitudes. Okay, we are single cast Pyg's Gym. So now we're playing the CDR game. However we can get Pyg's Gym down in cost is flat damage. I think it's crit. I think that's an immediate 100% crit chance. Am I wrong? Pyg's Gym. Your items get crit chance equal to this item's value for the fight. That is immediate 100% crit chance on our items. And then we could start doing shenanigans that are, when you crit, etc. So, okay, I'm wrong. You know what I was talking about? We don't usually get crit, so I don't value rock skill. I'm full of lies. Cool. I think crit's crack. There are a lot of things that are better. Obsidian is amazing. Haste would hit itself, so haste would be really good. Multicast shiny is obviously really good, but there's a lot of things that are terribly bad. Namely, the heal, the shield literally do 0 for us. And I prefer to put my thing. Yeah, that got weird. I prefer to put my enchant on Pyg's Gym for the value. Even though Atlatl has a lot better enchants. If I have to go random, then Atlatl's a really real consideration. Okay, I buy for 16. I sell for 8. I get a coin that's worth 4. 12. Okay, yeah, that's great. Are we buying and selling at 8 right now? I think we are. I forgot to swap in stained glass for the PvE fight. Ruck. Look, man. Look, Rayon Tash. If I get even your name correct, we're considering it a deep win for us all. I might even try to hold that for a hot second. Okay, we'll do the 4s and we'll call it. So we got some more swapperooskies I got to pay attention to. So this is not particularly great day 12, 13. We need a lot more power to be survivable those days. We need some kind of haste happening pretty early because Jim's just too slow. But if we can cash out by day 11, we should be fine. I don't know what the F is happening to us right here. I so rarely play against the new items. Shield equal to this item's damage. If you have another vehicle, cooldown. And then he killed himself with a bunch of multicast fire. Cool. I hope it's okay. I'm going to spend a couple more seconds on that board. I just have such little time with the new items, especially on the other heroes. I need to get a little more familiar with the boards that I'm going to face, because it might change like my placement decisions in the future in different builds. So this is not considered a weapon. It's just haste and multicast. For each aquatic item, reduces item's cooldown. What's the point of a bunch of spam multicast haste? That you run out of I guess that's you just have items that gain value off haste, which she has a lot. Vehicle, lifesteal, okay, and burn multicast. Okay, that's fairly straightforward. Um, it is a bad board. It's a deeply bad board, but I literally haven't even looked at some of those items. I do not get a lot. Kind of happy about it if I'm being honest, but not a lot of people seem to be buying and or using the items in the game. Fantastic. Andy. Oh gosh, we whiffed. And he made up for it. He made up for our mistake. He paid for our sins. Nufu, if you've heard me say it once, you've heard me say it 1,000 times. Nufu's a trap. We're running out of money pretty quickly here. So I think I'm actually just getting the free value off of that visit and leaving. I think I want to Dragon's Tooth my Atlatl for the PvE fight. Do I? Really? Is the 5 damage worth it? I think I will lose my power by playing Stained Glass and not lose even more power playing Dragon Tooth. And actually make sure we're winning the PvE fights. Yeah, we're going to get a chance to buy and sell one more weapon. This is not do or die here. We don't have to make the choice right the hell now. So, put Gem on our board. We want that. I think that we are okay winning this fight, even with that. So we're going to try hard it. You love your pay to win, Vanessa. Is she good right now? Is the purchase cards really good right now? I'm not terribly familiar with them. I should have double checked to make sure that without the value add I was getting 2 Atlatl in one cast. But didn't need to, so we're good. Cool. So we're doing all the right things. We are doing the fiddly gameplay loop where we move everything into all the right places. Getting our value from our PvE fights. And then we have to ask ourselves, CDR or... I think... I think cooldown reduction. I mean, he's only got 2 cooldown reduction skills that are good for us. The other property give damage skills are like basically just adding a little bit of value. But unironically, if we get ourselves something like heavy armaments at gold, then we can get Atlatl nuclear without like we could start the fight with a nuclear Atlatl, start spamming yo-yo. Yeah, I think we're gonna swing for. All right, we'll take it. We'll take it at silver. We'll take it at silver. Do I start doing flat damage to get that going? We don't have much money. I'm still gonna get more flat damage by buying weapons. So the answer is we go to JJ. Okay. I mean, we got the diamond here. That cost us 2. Do we do the reroll? I'm willing to sell Dragon's Fane now, so we do the reroll. No, we have one more. We have one more. We are just like dancing on the edge of poverty this run, but we're fine with it. We're gonna go. Why did I do that? I know it's been working very good for me. Well, that's cool. Stella. Slow all enemy items for 4 seconds shield. Oh, the flashbang. That one's always a little fun. Okay. Haste another. Yeah. Okay. We're not buying any of that noise. Swap places at Atlatl and Yo-Yo for more Yo-Yo procs. We can. What was the reason I wasn't doing that before? There was... Oh, that's why. We were getting more flat damage. We're getting leftmost and rightmost, so the flat damage is going on our rightmost item. And we were just... Yeah, so we had it here so that we could get ourselves to nuclear. I suppose it doesn't matter which one the damage is on, since they're both hitting at 1 second, and actually Yo-Yo gets more. No, this is only charge 3, so this is not getting a hit every second. This is. So we're doing it because this is a better vehicle for the free damage from left and right mouse. That's why we have the positioning that we have. It's only one proc every 5.7 seconds. And that is 20 damage that's getting kind of 1 or 2 more casts. So this is the... I got the sub? Or that looks like a response to somebody else. Yeah, yeah. No, I think this is still objectively correct. Yo-Yo is only getting 1 extra swing. I mean the in-game sub. Oh, okay. Yeah, Yo-Yo is only getting 1 extra swing in the entire fight from this. Yo-Yo is a little slower than Atlatl. Atlatl's a better vehicle for the 20 damage, so that's why we were making that choice. That was intentional. I just forgot why we were making that choice. Okay, we're gonna fight Pig. We are starting to get in the zone where we are defeatable by good crowd control, unfortunately. And he has some freeze shenanigans happening there. Luckily, you know, Caltrops kind of don't care about your freeze, sir. So that was his starting item. I mean, I guess you keep it on your board as long as you can because it's fun, but yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, just the premium pass. If you're asking me, no, I have not gotten the... I'm not doing any pay for stuff in the game. I actually have a video up on my thoughts on YouTube. Will have real videos on YouTube very, very soon. I'm trying to make some pretty complex guides that are like all like have screenshots of all of the skills that on day 1 we might look for, and then the combos that go with them, and then here's our day 3 boards when they're strong, and like start with a square pig explainer, then do a Pyg's gym explainer, then do a etc. So that's my dream for my YouTube channel, is to really get in depth, very beginner all the way to advanced, 1 build at a time explainers. In the meantime, just to break the seal, I needed to put a video up. So I did kind of my thoughts on the monetization structure and kind of like what my ideal system would be. So if you're interested in all, you could go there. I'm looking forward to the guides too. As you would not guess by... Oh, wait, let's not talk. As you would not guess by how slapdashery I play the game here, I'm finding myself to be a bit of a perfectionist on the videos, which has been slowing me down a little bit, and I would like to solve that. Okay. Okay. So now you are correct, by the way. Now Yo-Yo casts every second that Atlatl casts, and it also gets its own charge, so it's faster than Atlatl, so now it is a better vehicle for the 20 damage. So now Atlatl goes to the right. I'm a gotcha gamer. I used to be exhorted. Yeah, I got feels. I got feels for days on the subject. Do I want to... No, this is not the place, but I do want to start just getting some free scratch together to make up for our poverty. Property Baron. The dream. Let's try it. Yeah, this guy can... We got a little bit of hit points, but he can crit us to death if he double crits. Okay, we're fine. And it's weapon. Cool. And it's money. Cool. We are back to buying, boys. At this point, actually, I think we start going for the gold tier item, because if it's not a small item, it sells for more than you get from the other thing. So that is the reason we made that mistake. Window! If you're playing Pig to never make that mistake, then you shouldn't be playing Pig. But yes, ow. Totally window. Okay. Okay. How many more shops are we going to see? I mean, we don't know how much we're going to win. So it could be lots. Not just window, but Dragon Tooth. I forgot Dragon Tooth too. I forgot I even had Dragon Tooth. Jesus. I'm going to blame this talking thing that I'm clearly excellent at. Portal's usually bait, but we're poor and we can't go to her anyway, so we're praying for just like the upgrade pedestal or an enchant pedestal. We definitely cannot afford half. I haven't gone through all his burn items. So among the many things I'm doing for the videos is I have played the game for like, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours with everything but the voice lines off. Should have double checked that board before I hit go. I've made enough mistakes. Everything but the voice lines off, and so I then turn all of those into audio clips, so we have like short snippets of every single audio line, or most of the audio lines in the game. We still got to get a bunch of them. So we're hoping to, you know, weave that in. I have all the music recorded, turned to audio. I have a bunch of the sound effects. We're hoping to get screenshots of the things we're going to be talking about so that we can see them visually and not just like doing what I'm doing here, which is just like naming items that you may or may not know, and hoping those videos will be like kind of high quality and long lasting. It doesn't really matter if the items go away as much. I want to build it segmented so I can change it if the items change drastically. But the idea is to learn. The only way to learn this game is to break it up into a bunch of pieces. And so part of why I am it's too late for you, Ledger. I wish it's so late. Crook, should we crook pivot here, guys? What do you think? Just chug it on the board? Yeah, we can't afford anything anymore. We're kind of just going to the vendor for our card. XP. I mean, if we have one, we'll do it just in case we have another day. Gosh darn it, I forgot it. I'm moving too fast. I'm moving much too fast. Okay, here we go. Jim at its glory. I think maybe slow down a bit. Talk first, make in-game decisions after. That's fair. Thanks a bunch. Appreciate the feedback. Totally fair. I think you're right. I think I'm trying hard to make sure both things are happening at once. So, and I think it's also more instructive to be like, okay, we're getting ready for a fight. We need to transition our items. We need to make sure we put stained glass in and dragon tooth. We need to make sure that we get Atlatl over to where it's getting the value that it's supposed to be getting. And then we need to pick a fight. So Void Golem is the obvious go-to here. I say sarcastically because Void Golem usually for everybody is just do not click it. Unless you have several hard carries that can win the fight for you, because obviously if we lost Jim, we've lost Atlatl, we lose the fight. Trash Titan would be cool. Again, just shooting our shot. Getting Juggler would mean that Yo-Yo would charge Jim, and then suddenly we are dangerous as fuck. Um, so yeah, so that's what I'm hoping to do on the videos. It'll take me a little bit of time. I'm also just learning video editor software. None of this is what I do with my regular life. So all of this is just steep learning curve stuff. But hopefully we will get there. I'll repivot everything just to be safe, and I'll move it back if I have to if we get another fight. But that's less danger for us. We're gonna go to JJ. We're gonna weapons. Yeah, we could afford the reroll and do one more here. Okay. The question is, I guess business card for sure. We sell that and we do it. We have possible days in front of us, so we want to start thinking about what we can mortgage to just eke out a little bit of extra value right before the last fight. Jewels is probably better than anything else we're going to do. Jewels might even get... Atlattl's almost home, man. Atlattl's almost home. Okay. Alrighty. I know, right? I actually take Void Golem maybe 30% of my games. Not every fight. Like, obviously, he's an option I could do 4 or 5 times. We did it! We did it. He's an option I could do, several times on day 10. And in Square Pig, I will usually pick him eventually. When I have Atlattl doing over, 250, 300, and it can kind of win the fight on its own, and Lion Cane, that can kind of bonk him in 1 or 2 swings. Now I can afford to lose either Atlattl, Crook, or Lion Cane and still win the fight. And if I haven't gotten Belt and Phonograph so that Lion Cane's fully online into like a 3-second bonk, then the 4th slot on my board is weak compared to anything else I could put on there next to Caltrops. So it is a fight that I actually pick on Square Pig, and I actually pick it pretty regularly on Square Pig when I don't have Caltrops and I have 2 carries, 2 hard carries, so I can afford to lose either one. Yep, GG. That was a good one. So I don't know if anyone likes the game review, but this is not complicated. This is the most basic version of the build possible. You got your Pyg's Gym. We managed to get the Deadly Enchant on, crit chance. You got a Yo-Yo, you got an Atlattl, you got Caltrops. We only got 72 value out of lifting because we kind of got it. We kept upgrading it, but we got it pretty late, and weapons were expensive, and all of our econ was dumping into gym. We didn't have like 2 sources of econ to get a bunch of money, so we were really poor. So that's still pretty serviceable. Atlattl still almost got to nuclear on its own. It was getting there. Heavy firepower on left and right most. That was our run. We did it in 11 days. We only lost 1 fight. And at day 5, and the VOD will be up if you want to go back and watch the VOD, we decided we were going to throw at least 2 days between day 5, 6, and 7 to hard pivot into Pyg's Gym. And then because Pyg's Gym could be a carry as late as like 13, 14. And so that was the sacrifice we were making. And still, without getting terribly lucky at that time, the fights were a little weak that we went against, but the shops and whatnot weren't. We still pivoted in. So someone was asking at that time, like, we're feeling a little weak. This is where I get anxious and everything kind of falls apart. And the answer is you just got to know how many fights you're willing to lose and when. And like, perfect runs are not the play. 10 wins are the play. And there's times you get perfect runs, but Pig does not get to choose to win day 1. So perfect runs are just luck because our best day 1 board cannot beat Vanessa's best day 1 board. So it is deeply overtuned. You're not wrong. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to but actually it's deeply overtuned. There's no reason for that fight to be that insane. 2 Caltrops? Like 2 Caltrops that get freaking spiced? Like, why is that necessary? And then to just like destroy something off your board in the first, like it is. But I am Pig. Everyone else would never, ever, ever take that fight. Dooley one Caltrops is all I need to win almost every Dooley fight. So Dooley just doesn't get to go to him ever. Vanessa is usually too fast for him also. Pig has bonk boards, and so because we can just punch him a couple of times to win, we get a pass on that fight. In the same way that like weapons Vanessa can get a pass on Lich, and we would never ever 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 bother unless we happen to have like a fully fledged square pig board on the Lich fight day, which is very hard to do. Was the most instructive moment where I would have fucked up most, and I think it would be because I would try to soft pivot and slowly die. Yep, that is absolutely correct. That is what we do wrong most of the time. We decide in the early game, you are constantly telling yourself, what do I do today to win today? And, oh, that would be good. That would set me up better later. I don't care. What do I do to win today? And you keep doing that to yourself. And that's correct. And does this look like it can win today? Yeah. Is it likely to win today? Yeah. Okay, now I get to start making those better long-term decisions. But that's the question I answered. Your pivot can only happen if you stop doing that. You have to pick the moment where you decide, I am throwing either this day, the next day, or the day after. And often too, you kind of gotta just be willing to lose it. You gotta be willing to lose 3 on Pig. And I consider we got lucky and got day 1 and 2. I consider you're usually at the point that we were having lost one earlier. So when you're in the state that like this board isn't naturally pivoting itself, we don't have a crook and we're just trying to put flat damage on it Lottle, we can't just keep riding this this dragon. We gotta get off. When am I fairly strong now and only need 1 or 2 shops in order to win today? Today's probably not the day to throw, but maybe that means I have to plan on throwing tomorrow. So at those shops, I might be selling off small pieces, I might be whatever, and getting ready for tomorrow to be like, I will sell my entire board, move into the next pivot, start picking up my losses as I transition into the win. So yeah, super glad that was helpful. We are out of time, unfortunately, today. We're in the 800s because we had some really, really rough early games, but I'm glad we at least ended on one that was a lot more instructive. That was a pretty fun one to play. So thank you, everyone, for being here. You could exclamation point Discord in the chat or exclamation point YouTube if you want to get to either of those places. Exclamation point guide if you want to see. This needs a little bit of work, but this is my, it has all of the different encounters and what you get from each encounter, because I often forget these, especially like Jungle Ruins, which I never go to because, you know, I have them tier rated and kind of when would I choose this. And then some notes for like all the hidden encounters are listed here and what you need for those hidden encounters to happen. I got monster notes. This is the one that needs upgrading. For one thing, I have gold for all the last monster, but some of those are diamonds, some of those are unique, and I haven't corrected that yet. And for another, I haven't put in the new monsters. But for the most part, I list notable loot that you get from them, when you should pick it. And so a lot of times I'm saying, like, only when you're weak, you should be picking the higher XP fight. And then I have combat notes. So, like, some of these monsters have very specific things you got to pay attention to, like the fire guys. If you don't have sustain, you actually can't take him, even if you're more of a weapon, even if you have a pretty good board. The Hexa, if you have small items, she's going to kill you. You know, that kind of stuff. That's all in here. And then lastly is just the level up rewards, because I forget this very often too. So yeah, that is that exclamation point guide if you want it. Thank you, everyone. It's been a blast. I will be here tomorrow. I am here. You'll see it on my goodbye screen. It has my current schedule on there, which is Sunday through Thursday, 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. Pacific Standard. So you can do whatever translation that is into your current time zone. And that's it. I still need a goodbye tagline. I will be able to see the chat for a little while, so if you have any fun taglines you want that you want me to try out in the future, would love to hear them. Um, I don't know, something about being the Goose Father, something about the mafia. I don't know. I don't know. But still working on that. But for now, thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate you, and hope to see you tomorrow. Thanks a bunch.